Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hey Pete, Films and Stuff. We're back. How are you today?
I'm great, Ethan. How are you?
Oh, everything is good. We are in the summer season now, and you know what that means.
That's right. Everyone's going to the cinema.
Everyone is going to the cinema. After 2 years of nothing but Netflix, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Prime, it's time to get back into the cinema, right?
That's right. I
don't think you and I have had this problem. I mean, in Dubai, we've had cinema pretty much constantly, and I think in London, where you are, it hasn't really slowed down too much, has it?
So the last 2 years have been slow, but because the UK market is so small already, you know, when you're talking about a big movie in the UK market is like maybe $20 million. And I think that's like, I'm pulling these numbers out of my butt, but like that, you know what I mean? Like it's a big cinema weekend in the US is something like $300 million. And here, I think it would be like the equivalent of like $20 million or maybe $30 million. It's rare to see movies that are really, really huge smash hits because, you know, we're a very small country, relatively speaking.
With big dreams. Okay.
Big dreams, but giant aspirations.
Small cinemas.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But yeah, so
what's the cinema quality though, generally?
Pretty good. I would say on average, pretty good. I think what's interesting is that over the last 10 years, a lot of cinemas have opened up their own version or have tied up with IMAX. So a lot of the screens here, even though they're not, you know, like your stereotypical 500 plus cinema seats, even if they're only like 200 or even 100, they still have like IMAX quality screens and IMAX quality sound systems. So it's pretty decent. And there's been a growing trend in the theaters here for ultra luxe. So plush leather chairs that are actually recliners that, you know, operate like your Barca loungers or lazy boys. And you can order food at your seating and they'll deliver you, you know, fresh hot food in the cinema while you're watching the movie. So it's quite a luxe proposition. They're going for that ultra luxe proposition. On average, you're starting to see a lot more of that.
Nice. So would you say it's better quality cinemas than in the US, like AMC and what else is in the US?
So I haven't been to watch a movie in an AMC or like, I think the other one is
I don't know.
Oh, there's one more, but I can't remember it.
I
vaguely remember the logo, but in any case, but yes, in general, AMC is the biggest one. When I was living there, there was like a 30-screen AMC about a half hour away from me.
Yeah.
And it was nice, don't get me wrong. And I don't know if this has changed at all, but like I remember back then you didn't get assigned seats, so it was kind of like free-for-all, general admission. And so, you know, you sat there and you rushed into the cinema well in advance because you wanted to make sure you got a good seat. Actually, my favorite thing about it was the concession stand, because the quality of the concession stand in American theaters, I think, is probably the best I've seen anywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, generally speaking, in terms of not just whether the quality of the food itself is not that great,
but candies.
Yeah, but you get like a huge variety of different kinds of candies, savory snacks, all the different kinds of popcorns, which of course you get everywhere. But I just think that the options you have in US cinemas is more. Although I will say in British cinemas, you can get alcohol. So, you know, if you want wine, if you want beer, you get all of that. I don't know if that's necessarily the case in American theaters.
Not that I'm aware of, but that's a huge benefit for me. Okay.
Yeah, I remember we went to the bar next door in Zimbabwe, grabbed a bottle of wine before we saw a Force Awakens.
I think it was rosé. We promised not to tell anyone. I think we promised not to tell anyone. We said this stays with us.
Yes, that's right.
No,
that's right.
Don't go on a podcast and tell the world.
So listeners, this stays strictly between you and us.
Promise. All right. So
anyway,
this is the summer of film, right? I mean, it's been 2 years. So much stuff has been delayed or rescheduled. Now we've got really a full slate of like top tier movies coming out this summer, right?
Right. That's right. And so Ethan and I thought it would be a really good idea if we evaluated the slate.
We did.
And gave you our prediction on the top 10 in terms of box office takings by the end of summer.
So let's just make that clear. We're talking about what movies are going to make money, not what's going to be a good movie and not what's going to be an enjoyable movie. We're just saying, show me the money.
That's exactly right. So shall we start? Let's go bottom up. Let's start with our number 10th movie and work our way up to what we think is going to be the most financially successful movie this summer.
Done. At number 10, I have chosen a Netflix movie, Day Shift with Jamie Foxx.
Okay, so 2 questions.
That's not going to qualify.
Yeah, well, that's it. Is there going to be a theatrical run?
I don't know. Maybe my number 10, but my number 10 is the only one that I've chosen for Netflix. But I agree, based on the criteria that we just painstakingly outlined, this actually may not qualify.
All right, that's fine. Because we have some wild cards. Let's qualify that as a wild card.
That's my wild card. Like a true gambler. We'll just call that a wild card.
That's your joker in the hall. Yeah, right.
That's
and
my
for
joker
me,
in the hall.
I think Pixar's latest movie, Lightyear, is going to be the number 10 film.
Oh, I've got to give you a reveal. I've got Lightyear, but I've got it higher than number 10.
Ooh, perfect.
What do you have at number 9?
At number 9, I've got the new Brad Pitt action movie, Bullet Train.
I'm down with that. I don't have it at 9, but it's on my list. Tell me the synopsis of Bullet Train.
It looks like it's about a hitman who wants to retire, goes on one last job, who has to retrieve a suitcase from one of those bullet trains in Tokyo, or in Japan, those high-speed rails.
Yep.
And unbeknownst to him, many other people are after the same case, and it's basically an action movie that takes place on a train.
Do you think that Brad Pitt's agent has suddenly woken up from a long slumber, seen what's happened to Keanu Reeves in John Wick, and said, Hey, Brad, hey, Brad, I've got an idea. Why don't you grow out your hair and play kind of a bad guy assassin type in an action movie? Do you think there's any inspiration for this?
Intriguing. It could be. I think there's a renaissance, or not necessarily a renaissance, but definitely a move towards these older dramatic actors. We saw that with Bob Odenkirk two summers ago. With Nobody. Yeah. And then, of course, we have the Keanu-sans that's going on.
And what's the guy from Taken 1, 2, and 3?
Liam Neeson. Yeah, I think he probably kicked it off. He was like 60 years old.
The father being So, but I mean, it's interesting that Brad Pitt is playing this role now after years of not really being an action movie. That's not totally true, right? But after years of not really being in action movies, except the this Roman one where he played Achilles, right?
Yeah, but I think what happened was that this I think also has a lot to do with what happened with his wife, with his ex-wife in Angelina Jolie. I think before that it was really Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which was like this action comedy. Yeah. I think Bullet Train is going to be an action comedy. But then after they got married, all of that kind of stopped. He slowed down a lot. He had all these kids.
Oceans. So, he was just in Oceans where he's played kind of the snarky, wise-cracking guy, you know? Exactly, he never really got into... I mean, he was he was in Fight Club, right? I mean, he was kind of an action guy earlier in his career.
Yeah.
He got
so
away
I think
from
he's going
that.
to transition back into that now.
Get back into it.
I think so.
All right. The new job.
Sorry, what's your number 9?
I've taken the Elvis biopic.
I
think that
Baz Luhrmann. Yep.
Yeah, I think that Elvis is, I mean, obviously an iconic figure, but, and I take this a little bit from the Johnny Cash biopic. Those always get a lot of critical acclaim, but when it comes time to go to the cinema, no one actually punches their ticket for it. But I think it's just such a big name. It's got Warner behind it. It's going to be in a lot of cinemas. People will just see it because there's an absence of other stuff to see when they put it. But again, despite the big name of Elvis, I don't think it's going to be like number 1 or number 2 this year.
So I've put Elvis as my number 7 movie.
All right.
No, my number 8. I apologize. We skipped 8. I put Elvis as my number 8. And I agree with you normally, but musicals or shows which have a lot of music in them and biopics are hit or miss. Sometimes they're like that, like what you just suggested, which are more critically acclaimed, but maybe not necessarily box office fodder. But you've got 2 or 3 things that factor into that. One, this is a Baz Luhrmann film, which typically tend to be these grand, epic movies that do relatively well. 2, you've got Tom Hanks in it. And 3, you've got what early reviews have been very positive, and apparently like the guy who's actually playing Elvis does such a good job that Elvis's wife saw the early advanced movie and she said she would not have been able to differentiate between this actor and her actual own husband.
Holy shit.
So I give it an 8th place because based on that, I expect that it'll do better than we would normally have expected. But yes, on average, I agree with you fully. Biopics, especially of someone like this, don't necessarily hit the summer hotspot, but I think this could do it. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Hustle by Adam Sandler. I'm expecting big things from this because Sandler is still a big name, and Uncut Gems I thought was so good. Hustle
wonderful.
is
really good.
Probably going to be a little bit similar style. And the trailer or the advanced trailer I saw was super good. I think Hustle is gonna do quite well, actually.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think it's going to be a niche. Sandler typically comes out as a niche guy, and I think his name carries a lot of baggage, good or bad. I like him, but his movies typically are like slapstick doofus, comedy kind of things.
Except for Uncut Gems, right?
Except for Uncut Gems, fair enough.
Broke the mold.
I agree, but again, I think that was also a relatively niche movie. I don't think that was a very huge box office success. But it could be. It could very well be. What about number 7?
Number 7, I've got Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. I'm really excited for this, and like I said, I think Brad Pitt either hired a new agent or his current agent woke up from a 4-year coma and realized that Brad Pitt's got long hair, is a huge name, and can probably do some stunts. Why not make him, the next John Wick or Liam Neeson's character in Taken? Like this is an easy market, I think, for Brad Pitt to reel off 3-4 films in a row and kind of reclaim his his place in the Hollywood hierarchy. And the name Bullet Train is the right name for this movie as well. It just sounds good, Bullet Train.
Yeah. For my number 7, I've got one that might be a questionable decision. It's DC's League of Super Pets, or Pets, I can't remember. Effectively an animated movie about Superman's dog and Batman's dog. And they get into hijinks and adventures. I typically think mid to high range for animated movies in the summer, especially this summer. I think is a safe bet because A, you've got brand recognition with it, Superman and Batman. B, you've got an animated movie, and C, you've probably got millions of parents who just want their kids out of the house for 90 minutes so that they can relax. And I think this would be
never underestimate parents wanting to get rid of their kids for 90 minutes.
I agree. Right. So I think that's why in fact, I have another animated movie in my top 5, which is rare for me, but yes.
Can I go back to number 7?
Yep.
Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. The more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm wondering if there is not a blunder. Okay, John Wick, the name of the movie. There's a John Wick 2, John Wick 3, John Wick Parabellum, blah, 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 blah. Right? Same with Taken 1, 2, 3. Bullet Train is a great title, but does it really lend itself to like a sequel? Bullet Train 2. It has to be on a train again, right? It can't be now in cable cars. It can't be on a boat.
But that's the thing is I think that they could, if they really wanted to sequelize this, I imagine the next one it'll be another gimmick where it's not on a train, but maybe it's on a boat or like on a ship. And it'll be called like Hydrofoil or something else. You know what I mean? And it kind of becomes a trilogy in its own right, even if it's the same character.
So you think it's going to be called Bullet Train, Hydrofoil?
I think they're just going to do another name altogether, but it's going to be understood that it's a sequel, right? Because it's like, for example, I don't think, and I could be wrong, but like, I don't think Knives Out, I don't think the sequel is called Knives Out 2. I don't know, but I'm not sure. Or look at the Poirot movie that just came out, Death on the Nile. The first one was a Murder on the Orient Express, and the second one was Death on the Nile. But
oh, really? I didn't know that's related.
Yeah. They're direct sequels.
Well, see, how am I supposed to know that? Then they should have told me.
But that's, exactly. I agree. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. But I also think that, if you're a fan of Brad Pitt, if you're a fan of these kinds of movies, you're kind of going to realize
I think it should have been called just Bullet, and Pitt's character is named Francis Bullet. Or Pierre Bullet. Oh, Boulet. His name is Pierre Boulet. And everyone calls him Bullet. He says, no, it's Boulet. I'm French.
That's equally hilarious and equally terrible. I love it.
Does that mean you agree?
Yeah, probably.
Boulet. And then there could be Bullet Boat, Boulet Cable Car, Boulet Hydrofoil,
Boulet Concord.
Yeah. What's the little coal cart that you always see like in these coal mines?
Those little mine carts?
Yeah. That probably if you and I would see one, we couldn't even like push it like 50 meters because the wheels would be like so rusty. But whenever it's in a movie, it's like flying,
Yeah, it moves like greased lightning. All right, back to our list. Number 6.
6. Jurassic World. I don't know if that's even the name of the new Jurassic whatever.
Jurassic World 3. Dominion or Domination? I can't remember.
How many Jurassics are there?
So there was Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3. Then there was Jurassic World 1, 2, and this is the third one.
Oh my God. It's worse than Spider-Man, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm surprised you put it so low on your list, but all right.
No, because I have to say, Jurassic is I still am not clear on all the Jurassics. I may need you to clarify it again. But Jurassic is a big name, right? So when you've got that in the cinemas, it's going to be something. But I feel like I'm looking backwards. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was pretty rubbish, right? And
the movies were, in my opinion, terrible.
And that was 2018. I don't think there's a lot of goodwill. I don't think there's anyone who's looking for... I mean, I love Chris Pratt. I love Bryce Dallas Howard. Okay. Yeah. But there wasn't a whole lot of need for a sequel. And that's after Jurassic World, which I thought was actually really super miserable. And I didn't think they needed anything after that. And that's after Jurassic Park 3, 2001, that I thought, please let this be the end of it. No more Sam Neill. No more William H. Macy. That's enough. I thought Jurassic Park.
They're all coming back for this one. Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum. They're all coming back for the third one.
Well, as long as there's Bryce Dallas Howard.
So my number 6 is Jordan Peele's Nope.
Really?
I think this is going to... I think this actually has the potential to hit the top 5.
Are you kidding? So scary.
No. Yeah, but that's the thing is... He's done such an excellent job with his movies that he's carved out a niche in this like pseudo horror, high suspense, genre of movies. And he really gets a lot of people into the theaters to see them. I think it's going to be very high on the list.
Oh, I don't like scary movies.
Oh no, neither do I. But I there aren't 350 million of me in the U.S. unfortunately. So
okay, so where are we now? Number 5, top 5.
So now
right?
we're into our top 5. Here we go.
Top Gun 2 Maverick, which has so much pressure. I've already pre-booked my tickets, and believe it or not, I bought a flight suit on Amazon.
I love it. I love it.
I can't wait. I'm going to get aviators. I can't wait for this movie. It's just made me nervous that it's got to be so good because my expectations and my enthusiasm are so high for it.
Are sky high at the moment.
Yeah. But I think I have disproportionate amount of enthusiasm for this. I think because it's 35 years since the last one, I think there's a whole generation that doesn't have the same affection that I have for Top Gun. There's a bunch of people right now who are 22 years old that never saw the original Top Gun and certainly didn't see it in a theater, and they're probably like, meh, I'll see it, but not like, I gotta see it, My 5 is actually not Top Gun. My number 5 is Minions: Rise of Gru. I love the Minions. I love the Minions.
I do like the Minions as well, but I think they've got an extreme cachet with the younger audience. I think parents are going to go in drives with their children, not once, but maybe even twice to see this. I think the Minions have some way of captivating children, so I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to absolutely kick ass this summer.
All right, spoiler alert, I have Minions at number 3. I agree with you.
Oh, that high.
The Minions are always popular. I think the same thing. Minions are just going to... And even, I have to say, even there's... Like, you put this DC Pets... Yeah, a bunch of kids will go to that. But I have to say, like, Minions is clever enough that even our generation, you could see some date nights where people would go see Minions, Like, I don't think you and I would see Minions together. But like potentially we would each have dates who would be like, hey, let's go see Minions, because our date doesn't want to see Top Gun. Okay. Our date doesn't want to see Jurassic World. We don't want to go see Bullet Train and have them swoon over Brad Pitt, so we've got to be a little bit strategic about that. All
right. Let's double date onto the Minions.
Onto the Minions. That's 4 tickets. Okay.
So my number 4 is Top Gun 2. I think that it's not going to. I think it's going to do very, very well, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to be able to dethrone my number 1, 2, and 3 pick.
At number 4, I've got something that you've got higher, which is Lightyear. Yeah, the Buzz Lightyear movie.
Oh, right.
About Toy Story. So I think Lightyear, like Minions. I mean, both of those have huge studios behind them. They're done exceptionally well. They've got a lot of brand recognition. I expect that'll do pretty good.
Very good.
For the same reasons.
What's your number 3?
Number 3 is Minions.
Oh, sorry, you did say that. That's right.
So my top 5 is I go Maverick, Lightyear, Minions, and I just have to reveal 1 and 2 yet.
My number 3 is Doctor Strange 2, which we already saw and reviewed.
So low.
That it's not that it's so low. It's just that I think my number 2 and my number 1 movies are going to take it to the cleaners. Now, having said that, I'm starting to sweat already.
You should be.
Because As of the time of recording, we're in the middle of the second weekend of release. They've already crossed $550 million worldwide.
Yeah.
For Doctor Strange 2. And just remember, Doctor Strange 1 in its entire theatrical run made $600-something million. So I think I might have called it too early. I might be too pessimistic. But yes, my number 3 is Doctor Strange 2.
So let me tell you what my number 2 is. My number 2 is Thor. And you can't talk about Strange 2 without talking about Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yes.
So maybe I'll just, it's not a reveal anymore. My number 1 is Strange 2, and then I've got Thor at number 2. And the reason I put it that way, and I could be talked out of it, it could go the opposite of my logic, but my logic is everyone is seeing Strange 2, and it's very good. We loved it. We obviously had a few suggestions. I feel like everyone's going to be a little bit marveled out then. And they've seen Strange and they're kind of like, all right, I've seen my Marvel movie. Like, do I really need to see Thor? Like, And I feel like there's going to be a drop off just because they're the same universe. Now, the flip side could be argued, and maybe I'm wrong, that everyone got so excited by Strange, they remember how much they love Marvel. Thor's coming out and they want another bite at the apple. I can totally see that as well.
You've hit the nail on the head for me, so no surprise. My number 2 is Jurassic World 3 because it's going to get a lot of the kids who are interested in dinosaurs, plus a lot of the older people. I think Jurassic World 3 is going to be a number 2, but I think for exactly the reason you just mentioned for Thor versus Doctor Strange, I think Thor is going to come in number 1. Because I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of people who saw Doctor Strange 2. And I think you're going to get 2 camps of people who saw Doctor Strange 2. The first camp, who like you said, were like, oh my God, I miss seeing Marvel movies in the theater. I can't wait to see more of it. And so we're going to go watch it. And, we're going to see how this world interconnects. I think that's going to be a big driving factor. And the second reason could be that a lot of people who also saw Doctor Strange 2 were just like, it wasn't really my bag. It was a little Sam Raimi-esque. There was a little bit of horror. There was a little bit of this. They weren't so sure. And I think with Thor 4, it addresses all of those things because the trailers seem like that they're a little bit joyous. You get a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy in there. You get the reintroduction of Natalie Portman, who also has her own cachet of fans. I think that it's going to cover all the bases that Doctor Strange 2 didn't, and I think it'll cover them in a better way. And that's why I think Thor 4 is going to... And remember, Thor 4 is coming off of Thor 3, which did incredibly well and gained a lot
Was that Ragnarok?
Ragnarok. A lot of people
Ragnarok was my
really
favorite.
Loved Ragnarok. Exactly.
I think Ragnarok was my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah. So I think in terms of fun movies, I think Ragnarok was the best. In terms of my favorite, it's definitely maybe top 10. I don't know if it's the best, but I still think so. And I think it's going to ride that wave. Everyone's going to remember, oh man, I really liked how Taika Waititi did Thor 3. I think he's going to do even better with Thor 4. And that's why I expect Thor 4 to be the number 1 movie this summer.
Let me take you through a little bit of maths. Yeah? I'm getting from thenumbers.com the box office history for the Jurassic Park movies, okay? So take your mind back to 1993, Jurassic Park.
Yep, I'm there.
You want me to talk worldwide or should I talk U.S. domestic?
No, let's talk worldwide. Everything worldwide.
Worldwide, it just crossed the 1 billion barrier worldwide. In 1993, that's quite good. I don't know how this... Good. I don't know. It's probably comes video and everything ever since, but anyway. In 1997, Lost World, Jurassic Park. 600 million. That's down 40%. Yeah? Dramatically down. 2001, Jurassic Park, Roman numeral 3. First of all, this naming convention is driving me nuts. Okay. Down again, 366 million. So we've gone from 1 billion, 600 million. Now we're at 366.
Okay.
Then they took a 14-year pause, rightfully so. Jurassic World at 1.7 billion. That's
that was the
huge.
smash hit of that summer.
That's huge. Then 2018, 3 years later, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, 1.3 billion. So where's Jurassic World: Dominion Falling? You think it's going to barely cross 1 billion?
I think it's going to be $1 billion movie. I don't know if it's going to surpass 1.7, but I think it's going to be between 1 and 1.3 billion as well.
Spider-Man No Way Home, it says, is 1.9 billion.
Yep. It's the third most successful Marvel movie.
Eternals, wow, crash and burn at 400 million, huh?
Can't believe it even made that much, but good for them.
Crash and burn, huh? Although maybe not unusual because there's not a single recurring character. It's an entirely new franchise, right?
Yeah, plus, I mean, there was a pseudo-pandemic release.
Yeah.
There are lots of reasons why you can justify that number.
Yeah.
But, I mean, ultimately, the movie itself wasn't great anyway.
Yeah. But then, you know, who really does have a good argument, which is Black Widow, right? Which was disastrously released. 380 million. I thought Black Widow was a phenomenal movie. I have to say, Black Widow may be as good or almost as good as Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, big swing there. All right.
Yeah. I thought Black Widow was exceptional, right?
Not for me. I thought it was good, but I don't think it was as good as Thor Ragnarok.
Okay. So, where is Thor? I mean, Thor Ragnarok made 850 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, I mean, I don't know why we're sneezing at that. That's a huge amount of money. But, I mean, compared to Infinity War, Endgame, the Spider-Mans, 850 is not like...
Yeah, it starred two of the lesser Avengers. It came off of Thor 2, The Dark World, which was universally panned. Not just in the box office, but even by critics. So it had a lot of work to do, which is why I think this is going to be the next $1 billion movie. I think Thor 4 is going to be the next $1 billion movie.
So when we look at this, I've got, so Doctor Strange is already at $500 million, right? Thor: Love and Thunder, we'll find out. Then is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever coming out in November of this year?
So they say, but I have no idea.
And then in spring of 2023, Ant-Man and Wasp again.
Quantumania, yep.
And then in a year from now, Cinco de Mayo, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
That's right, but they're going to prime it. They're actually releasing a holiday special in December.
So let's see. But you think filming it now. You think Thor 4 is going to out Strange 2?
I definitely think so.
Wow.
I definitely think so. Okay. I think Doctor Strange 2 is in the annals of MCU filmography. I think Doctor Strange 2 is going to come off as more of a niche than Thor 4.
Where was the original? I'm trying to find the original. The original Doctor Strange only did
600 something, yeah.
I mean, again, but that's in 2016.
Yeah.
Coming off and although there is some precedent for this, if you look at 2016, you had Captain America: Civil War at 1.1 billion.
What a movie. Yeah.
And that's an amazing movie. For me, that's really one of the best ones, right? Captain America: Civil War, May 2016. Then November 2016, you had Doctor Strange. That's a bad release date, though, yeah? November. Maybe it's getting Thanksgiving in the U.S. But they had two that year, May and November. Plenty of time in between them. But Captain America: Civil War did not do a lot. Although Strange was new at the time, right? There was no Cumberbatch. He wasn't known like he is now, right? So
that's true.
The Strange is obviously doing a lot better. Let's see where Thor: Love and Thunder comes in. But Ragnarok, only 850. Dark World made 644, but that's back in 2013. Totally different time, you know? So that's
any movies you think are going to be wild cards?
I mean, there's always there. I mean, the problem is that there's probably some stuff out there that's going to catch fire. You know, there's something called Crimes of the Future, right? David Cronenberg. There's like a bunch of other stuff. I mean, let's not talk about like the animated thing. I'm not talking about Chip and Dale. But
for me, if you're not going to talk about the animated, that's fine. I think that there's 2 wild cards that could make it, and for 2 wildly different reasons.
Tell me.
I think one is the Downton Abbey movie.
Oh, yeah.
So Downton Abbey movie, I think you're going to get a lot of an older audience. I think it has the potential to stretch out longer over the summer. So like typically, you know, within the first 3 or 4 weeks, everyone's seen the movie and then kind of it dies down. I think Downton Abbey will be a little bit longer. It has potential to sneak in there on the top 10, only because the people who really love Downton Abbey really love Downton Abbey.
That's true.
And it's also an older cinema crowd, so you know they're more patient. They don't necessarily have to see the movie in the first weekend. They might see it in the second or third. Then the other one,
there's no Avatar. There's no Avatar, right?
No Avatar. That comes out in December.
And you don't think and Fantastic Beasts, the Dumbledore movie, that's not counting?
No, that's pre-release. That's pre-summer window.
All right.
But even if it were, I don't think it would make that list. Okay. I saw that film and I have a lot of opinions on it.
Okay.
But the other one that could be a wild card is Joe Coy in his movie Easter Sunday. I don't know if you know Joe Coy.
Easter Sunday.
So Joe Coy is a Filipino-American comedian. And I don't know if you know someone. So do you know Russell Peters?
Yeah.
So if Russell Peters is to Western comedy, is to Indians in the comic scene, that's what Joe Coy is to Filipinos in the comic scene. He is a Filipino-American. He doesn't sell out comedy clubs. He sells out stadiums. When he does a tour, he sells out stadiums and arenas.
It's called Easter Sunday?
And his movie is called Easter Sunday. It's about, surprise, surprise, Easter Sunday. And the reason I think that's a wild card is because he has the potential. He's a very, very funny comedian. I think if you haven't seen him, I advise you to watch him. His stand-up specials are great. I also think that he's got cultural cachet with a lot.
We should spell his name. His name is spelled Jokoy.
Yeah, that's right, Joe Coy.
Yeah.
And he's got cultural cachet and he's got comedic cachet, not just with people who like comedies, but with Filipinos, with Japanese people, with Korean people, with Vietnamese people. So with a lot, like Russell Peters, he's got a lot of power and cultural cachet with South Asians and Southeast Asians. And if the movie is good, if the movie is even halfway decent, I imagine you'll get a huge number of people going to see it for a variety of reasons, not least of which is to say, hey, there's a Filipino guy who's starring in this movie. We rarely get to see Filipinos on screen as comedic leads, so we really should support him. And, you know, that's why I think that there's going to be a lot of people who could go for it. I don't know if it's got the power to beat any of these top 10 films, but if there is a wild card, I sneakingly suspect he could get it done.
I love wild cards. Okay. Love wild cards. You have another wild card?
No, the other one was, so Downton Abbey, Easter Sunday, and then Chip and Dale. But Chip and Dale, because again, animated movie Rescue or semi-animated Rangers. Movie, so... You know, it's got a little bit of that. It's also, I think, starring John Mulaney. So, you know, you've got some.
Oh, yeah.
I think he voices one of the chipmunks. So I think there's a lot of, again, potential there. But maybe not for people like you and me to watch. But definitely if we had kids, we would take them to watch it.
Pete, let me ask you a question about something that's in cinemas now that we have not seen or reviewed. Should we be talking about Lost City with Sandra Bullock and the other dude, Magic Mike?
Surprise, surprise, I saw it.
Oh, what a reveal.
dun, dun, dun. I did see it. It wouldn't qualify as a summer movie, although if it had come out in the summer movie, I would put that as I would put that as a wild card for this list. It's your stereotypical, it's kind of like what Sandra Bullock started out her career doing, which was
Will I laugh? Will I laugh?
There are definitely moments where you will laugh.
Okay.
Definitely moments where you will laugh. It's, your typical action-esque romantic comedy with two fish out of water. The old school setup that we saw in the 90s and the early 2000s time and time again. Except instead of Matthew McConaughey, it's Channing Tatum.
For me, the important part of these movies, because I agree, a science fiction movie for me, it can inspire me. Like it gives me like something to think about. If it's an interesting premise, I'm just fascinated by the idea, and I just love that kind of like the part that makes me more curious. But if it's one of these, like you said, it's kind of a action-y rom-com, it's gotta make me laugh, because I'm sure the storyline is going to be forgettable, the characters are going to be forgettable. It's just a movie that's kind of like 90 minutes of your time, but it's really gotta make me laugh, and if it's not going to be funny, then I'm out. But if you can say, hey, yeah, it's a silly movie, you see everything coming from a mile away, but it will make you laugh, then I'll be in.
Yeah, I think my suspicion is that you will laugh. There are definitely moments in there which you couldn't help but laugh at.
Okay.
Do I think it's a great movie? No. Do I think it's the perfect rom-com action movie? Pretty close. It's as close as you'll get to like your typical formulaic rom-com action movie. So I imagine that I don't know how well it's done or how well it will do at the end of its run. But I think people who are interested in that genre in particular will enjoy it.
Can I just say, though, I do not approve replacing Matthew McConaughey in my life with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, it's a tougher sell. It's a tough sell.
Where is Matthew McConaughey? Is he so wealthy or so crazy that he's just not making movies?
I haven't seen him in a movie in a long time.
It's not right. I don't want this.
It's because he was thinking of making that gubernatorial run in Texas, if you'll remember.
I don't want Matthew McConaughey to be my governor of a state I don't live in. I want him in movies, and I want him to say Matthew McConaughey things in a Matthew McConaughey voice. I want him to. I'm just not clear why he's not in more movies.
I know.
So please, if you're in Texas, vote against Matthew McConaughey, because I want him in movies.
Tell him to get back to movies.
Tell him to get back to movies. Or tell him that you'll vote for him if he gets back to movies, if that's what you want. Either way, I want him back in movies because I think he's funny.
So that's Matthew McConaughey. That's Lost City. It's interesting. I was thinking, one of the things I was thinking
you didn't tell me though, Pete. Pete, you didn't tell me.
It happened by circumstance.
That makes me think that there's...
Yes, that's right. You're witnessing a films and stuff coup.
A rift.
Starring just Pete. Forget about Ethan.
Films and other stuff. With me, Pete Mitchell, alone.
No. I was thinking, it's so funny you mentioned that, because I was thinking that, because there's so many movies that I don't think we both are going to watch on either side. So I think that one of the things we could probably do in an upcoming episode towards the end of the season.
It's not even on your spreadsheet. I hold on. I disclosed.
It is on the spreadsheet.
Where?
Excuse me. If you look at A13, The Lost City.
You're right. Because I put "Marry Me" on there, and you even put Pete. You put a dash.
Because I knew I was never going to watch it.
You didn't even pretend. You didn't even pretend. You're like, dash. Not even going to watch. Dude, you put a dash. I didn't put any dashes. You put 2 dashes.
You know what it was? It's because, did I really want to see J-Lo?
That is hurtful. I can't believe you put... You put the Lost City up there, just waiting for Ethan to come give it a score. I put Marry Me, and that took a lot of guts, by the way. That put me in a very vulnerable position to put Marry Me. And Pete just puts a dash. No thanks.
Let me be very honest with you. The reason I didn't tell you about Lost City was because I didn't have guts. I was such a coward. I was like, oh, I don't want him to know I watched that movie. So I'm going to sneak it in there.
It just snuck up on there. All right.
I put it in there because I think what we can do towards the end of the summer is maybe do a catch-up like mini review session where we do one episode where both of us talk about the shows or movies that we've seen and give like a 3-minute quick fire review of each movie and we call it a day. Because I don't expect you to watch Lost City, and I don't think, genuinely speaking, it's fine if it's on the background of your TV, but I don't think like you actively should go out to look for it.
Let's also make a small confirmation. After we watch Jurassic Park Dominion, we will also do a review of The Bubble.
Yes, because it's a great point that you've put out. We both watched that movie. It is a good point because we've both watched that movie, and supposedly the rumors are that The Bubble is actually based. The premise of The Bubble is that it's about a group of actors filming a movie in isolation under strict COVID protocols.
In a COVID,
although they don't mention COVID, they just say some disease. Supposedly the rumors are that this movie is based on Chris Pratt and him filming Jurassic Park 3 or Jurassic World 3 because that movie was also filmed completely in isolation.
I hope so. Let's talk about those two things at the same time then.
That's a great idea.
What do we have on our next episode? I know the answer. I just want you to hear you say it because I feel like your voice is going to give away your level of enthusiasm. What is our next episode, Pete?
Oh my God, please don't make me say it.
I'm going to make you say it.
We're going to talk about episode 8 of Halo.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about it.
I think it's going to be one of our best episodes. I say that before every episode. This time I mean it. This time you and I have legitimate differences.
That's right. And so much so that I actually sent
a house divided against itself. Two different universes.
Films and Stuff, Civil War.
Civil War. Welcome to Films and Stuff, Civil War. I'm Ethan, and there's my nemesis, Pete, and we're going to talk about Halo.
I actually sent a tweet to Elon Musk asking him to buy Paramount so that they could stop filming this show.
I sent him a tweet saying, buy Paramount so you can make this show again and again.
Oh, God.
Who will you listen to? All right.
Anyway, thank you, everyone. That was our top 10.
That's top 10 for the summer. Tune back in the autumn after Pete and I reveal how many of these 10 we've gotten correct. And we'll see where we are then. Will we not?
Indeed. We'll come up with some trophy or something so that we have something to fight for every summer.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll make it annual.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. We see you next time.
Bye.
Peace out.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.